Hello bearded bee people, welcome back to Bee and KBs for part, I believe, 8 of our Making Queen Bees series. Today we are placing the cells into mating nukes. You can place your cells on day 11 preferably in any queenless hive you want, but there are some things to keep in mind. The further apart between the time of placement and time of the cell emerging, the more likely it is your cell is going to get torn down. The larger and stronger the colony that you're placing the cell into, the more likely it is that your cell is going to get torn down. The closer between pulling the bees from the queen or the queen from the bees, the closer between the bees becoming queenless and you placing the cell into the nuke, the more likely it is that your cell is going to get torn down. So you want to make sure that they have time queenless to become aware of that. If it's a large colony, you want to keep them in a cell protector. If there are multiple days in between placing the cell and the cell emerging, you want to keep them in the cell protector. Otherwise, you can just place the cell in, like I'm probably going to do here now, without the cell protector. And the reason for that is just because they draw a bunch of wax on these cell protectors, and I don't want to have to keep buying them. So if I can place them in there without it, then that is what I'll do. But if they need it, then I will keep it in the protector. I might keep these in the protector because these are looking like some strong colonies. So normally I would take the frames out and push this into a frame, but because of these being so strong, I think I'm just gonna just kind of wedge it in right there, like that. Do the same thing over here. And then that's good. I had pulled these cells 2 days ago. I pulled these queens from these nukes 2 days ago. All right. So that's about it. It's great to be placing them while they're moving inside the cell, which they are today. They're practically just getting ready to walk out, because like I said, that gives them the least amount of time to tear those cells down, especially if you're populating the mating nukes at the same time, because sometimes you'll get the cells to get ignored for a few hours, and if they're still in their development period, being ignored for a few hours likely means death. If they're moving around in the cell, being ignored for a few hours doesn't really mean anything. She'll walk out just fine. So for all of those reasons, I love placing them as close to emergence as possible. I love placing them in these tiny little baby nukes. But if you're placing them in your splits, your 10-frame deep splits or your 5-frame deep splits or whatever, all of these rules apply there as well. So thanks for watching. The next part will be checking in on these cells in 10 days or so to see if we've got some eggs. And then, of course, I'll do that tips and tricks video for the grafting portion. So thanks for watching. Get out there and have some fun with your bees. See ya.